Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time. This is a very quick video that is well, it is a book haul, but it's a very specific charity shop visit thing. And it's only a few books. I wasn't really going to do book hauls very often, and what I've started doing lately is putting little mentions of what I bought recently on the live streams and tags at the end of monthly roundups and stuff like that. So this is a bit different because it was such an interesting selection of books. I think, I'd love to see your comments on these and a couple of really cool finds. So kind of celebrating charity shops, and just, I don't know, some of these might be of interest in general. So, and I'm just looking at the side of me. The first one I'm going to talk about, I was going to check out how to say his name. Didn't do that. But anyway, I'll just briefly say there are three shopping precincts in... Sorry. There are three shopping precincts in Portsmouth. There's the main town centre, which used to be the one years back, which was really busy and thriving, blah, 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 blah. And it's still a shopping centre, but it's not quite as great as it was. Didn't go down there today. There is a couple of charity shops down there. There's the big HMV down there, and there's Waterstones down there. But I didn't go to Waterstones, didn't go to the big library, which I was going to. I was planning to go to the library, but I had such a good job in the other precinct I didn't bother going. The other one is another shopping precinct, which is down the Southsea end of Portsmouth, which is it's right next to the promenade, like the seafront, near the big castle field where we have the big music festival. And that's called Palmerston Road. And that has got lots of interesting shops in it, as well as the Southsea Library, and also lots of charity shops. And it's always a nice go-to place. If I can get down there, I go down there. And the other big one is Gunwharf Quays, which is a big shopping area where the big cinema is, big bowling place, lots of different things there, loads of nightclubs and stuff. But that's kind of like the newest development in the shopping precincts in Portsmouth. And I don't particularly find the shops that interesting, but my brother-in-law and sister-in-law visit there a lot because they love Gunwharf, and they travel down for a couple of hours. It's a 2-hour journey for them, but they come down a lot to buy stuff. So Gunwharf is it's an outlet area, so there's lots of big companies, big corporate companies, clothes companies and stuff like that. It's not my kind of thing. So I went to Southsea, the Southsea precinct. And the first shop I went to was a charity called Cry, and I found some really interesting books. This one, I always intend to go to these places to find books that I already want, that I'm looking for cheaply or whatever. So, or sort of parts of series that I want. So I don't necessarily expect to buy stuff that I haven't known about. So there's lots here of stuff I didn't know about. So anyway, this is the first one. This was nominated for the Booker Prize in 2019. It's called An Orchestra of Minorities. Chikozi Ibiyama. That's what I'm going to say. Hopefully that's right. Chikozi Ibiyama. An Orchestra of Minorities. I didn't know about this book. I'd never heard of it before, and I saw it. It's big old hardback, so clearly it's the original edition. It came out in 2019. I saw it. I thought, what's this? An Orchestra of Minorities. Interesting title. And I read the flap. I'll read you the flap because it just sounds really interesting, and I thought I'll go for that. Okay, Nigeria. A young poultry farmer sees a woman attempting to jump to her death from a highway bridge. Horrified by her recklessness, Chinonso joins her on the roadside and hurls 2 of his most prized chickens into the water below to demonstrate the severity of the fall. And the woman, Nadali, is moved by his sacrifice. Bonded by this strange night on the bridge, Chinonso and Nadali fall in love. But Nadali is far from a wealthy family, and when her parents object to the union because Chinonso is uneducated, he sells most of his possessions to attend university in Cyprus. Once in Cyprus, Chinonso discovers that all is not what it seems. Furious at a world which continues to relegate him to the sidelines, Shinonzo gets further and further away from his dream, from the Dali and the place he called home. On this contemporary twist on Homer's Odyssey, in the mythic style of the Igbo literary tradition, Chigozie Abiyama weaves a heart-wrenching epic about the tension between destiny and determination. So yeah, Nigerian author who did live in Cyprus for a while as well, using those two locations for the plot. It sounds very interesting. A sort of riffing off the Odyssey concept. I love the Odyssey anyway. It just sounded really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to read that one. And then I found this, and I was intrigued by the title. It's called "It's Kind of a Funny Story" by Ned Vicini, or Vicini probably, Vicini, Ned Vicini. It's kind of a funny story, Ned Vicini, and it's an awesome cover, and it just grabbed my attention. I thought, what's this? And it was like that. So I thought, what's this? And yeah, it just seems really interesting. So I'll just read a bit of this. Ambitious New York City teenager Craig Gilner is determined to succeed at life, which means getting into the right high school to get into the right college to get the right job. But once Craig aces his way into Manhattan's executive pre-professional high school, the pressure becomes unbearable. He stops eating and sleeping until one night he nearly kills himself. Craig's suicide episode gets him checked into a mental hospital, whereas new neighbours include a transsexual sex addict, a girl who has scarred her own face with scissors, and the self-elected President Armelio. There, Craig is finally able to confront the sources of his anxiety. And then below, not in bold, it says, Ned Vicini, who himself spent time in a psychiatric hospital, created a remarkably moving tale about the sometimes unexpected road to happiness. And then there's a little blurb, a book about depression that's not the least bit depressing. So, yeah, sounds really interesting. So there's that. And then, the same shop, I found this, an oral history of The Daily Show. I love The Daily Show. I watch it as much as I can. Really love it. I've loved it for many, many years. So I watched it for ages when Jon Stewart was doing it originally. And then, obviously, it was taken over by John Oliver. And then after John Oliver did it for a bit, it was taken over by Trevor Noah. And now Jon Stewart's back. And it's the best presenter for it. He's so good, and I'm watching it again, and obviously at the moment it's the best time to watch it because it kind of rationalizes some of the stuff going on. But yeah, The Daily Show, I'm really interested to see this, and this is like anecdotal stuff from the people that worked on it. So it's actually, the format's actually similar to the Warren Zevon biography, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? So yeah, Daily Show, an oral history, definitely really want to read that. So those were really, really cheap. All of these books ended up being a tenner, and that's all of them. So I'll get to the others in a second. But yeah, that was the first shop, Cry. And then I went into the Sue Ryder shop, and I found two books, one of which was the Joe Jackson biography. So Joe Jackson was a big theme in my live stream last night. And it's funny because someone said that they thought I looked like him, which surprised me. And he's from this area. He's from Portsmouth. He lives in Portsmouth now. And his drummer still lives in Portsmouth. I think his bass player, his original bass player, lives in America now, I think. But anyway, he's got this history with us anyway, in down here in Portsmouth. And I have read this before. I read it years ago, but I want to read it again. And I found it for £1. And I was like, oh, I can't resist it. I'll read it again. So, Cure for Gravity, Joe Jackson's autobiography. If you don't know Joe Jackson, check out the Look Sharp album in particular. Is She Really Going Out was the big single. Is She Really Going Out With Him? I should say it better. But the I'm the Man album is also fantastic. And then later on he did Stepping Out, which is a brilliant song. Hometown is about Portsmouth. Real Men. There's a fantastic song about gender, which kind of asks lots of questions, called Real Men. And he's just an awesome songwriter. So I've seen him a number of times live, and he's brilliant. So big shout out to people in the chat that were talking about him. Hopefully you'll see this. I'll tag you. I'll have another look at the video. I think Erie was one of them. But yeah, I will tag you. So there's that. And then I found this, and this looks really interesting, and especially as I'd like to do a video next month about International Women's Day, and I've not really decided what I'm going to do yet. But I found a book by Kate Adie. Kate Adie, not Katie Adie. Kate Adie. And Kate Adie is a very famous reporter over here, who was also she was known for going to war-torn areas when she was very active on TV, and she'd report from the front lines of conflicts. And this book's called Corsets to Camouflage, Women in War, and I had a little flick through it, and it does look really interesting. There's lots of reflections on her career, and also she sort of goes beyond that and talks about women in general and their relationship with war, because she talks about the Second World War as well, which is obviously before her time. So yeah, it's a really interesting book, which I can't wait to look at. So Kate Adie's book, Corsets to Camouflage. So those were the two books I found in the Sue Ryder Foundation shop. And then I went to the British Heart Foundation shop, and I found two hard case crime books. So I've got a load of hard case crime books on my top shelf up there, like tons of them. I got 30 books in that series, and now I've got two more. So the first one I found was the 50 to 1 one. I've got to take that sticker off, haven't I? But I've only just come in. 50 to 1 by Charles Ardey, who is the editor of the series. So he's written a couple in the series, I think, but this is one that he wrote for the to sort of mark an anniversary. So this is when they'd released 50 books, and he did this one called 50 to 1, which was about books as well. And it's sort of just celebrating the fact they'd released 50 books in the series. So the hard case crime books are very reliable. I've read quite a number of them now, and only really not liked one of them. So they're a lot of fun to read, these sort of crime books. And this is one that the editor wrote himself. So that was pretty cool. And then I found another one by Lawrence Block. Again, I've got to take the sticker off. Lawrence Block, Grifter's Game, which I've always been kind of intrigued by the cover. I think it's an awesome cover. That's usually the case with their books. But yeah, Lawrence Block has been quite an interesting find for me. I've liked the stuff I've read by him a lot. So that was that one. And that was a really nice thing. So all of those books I just mentioned were only a tenner altogether. So that was, what were they, £2 each. So those were the most expensive ones, £2 each. So that was really cool. And I just thought I'd end the video by just saying that another hard case crime book. I am reading something at the moment. It's really good and really interesting. And it's for the Wasted Weekend, which is the Garb August kind of midway celebration thing in February. So I'm reading a trashy book for that, but it's also for the Ben Reads Good Read Good Book Challenge, because it's the February one, and that's Double Down by Max Allen Collins. And the February prompt for Ben Reads Goods challenge is that there's fire on the cover. And there's fire on the cover. It's a plane that's going to be blowing up. That's Nolan, one of the chief Max Allen Collins characters. This is the first book I've read with this character, and I think it's the first Max Allen Collins book I've read as well. But I'm reading this for the Wasted Weekend as well. So I'm hoping to read The Edge next week, which was my original choice, but I thought I'd read this as well, because it's killing two birds with one stone with the Ben Reads Good challenge as well. So there we are. So I'm reading that, and it's quite enjoyable. So we'll see how it gets on. I've only just started it. Page 38, in fact. So yeah, there we are. Thanks for watching. And now I realise, because I read the blurbs, it's longer than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a really quick one. But let me know down below what you think of those books. And just a quick book haul between more serious videos. And I've got a tag coming up that I'm creating myself next week, that I really hope you guys get into and enjoy. It's going to take me a bit of planning and work, but I'm hoping to get it out by Tuesday. Little intriguing tease. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Stay curious.
Picture